Good morning, Fargo. Fargo City Commissioner Tony Gehrig with your February 12th Fargo City Commission recap. Rather large agenda. I'll hit three of the high points. They were big issues, I think. The syringe policy, our incentive policy for apartments, and the Class Z liquor license, which I'm sure you read about in the paper. We'll start with the syringe policy. Here's the deal. When most people hear that we're going to offer syringes for free to addicts, their initial reaction is to cringe and say, ooh, that sounds like a really bad idea. So I had that same reaction. Read the paper, didn't like it. I went to a brown bag meeting with Fargo County Health and other people, and they explained how this is going to work. It's not just we hand you a syringe and you go happily on your way. When you come to us, ask for a syringe or dispose of ones that you have currently, we will give you information and counseling as to what you can do to stop having to use that syringe for drugs. Syringes, so what they're telling me and what the data says is that you're twice or three times or five times more likely to get into rehab if you have this in place. So of the X amount of people that are going to go there, if five of them go into rehab, for example, we've been successful in that. It's expensive to treat someone with AIDS and with hepatitis C. That's the kind of illnesses you get when you share dirty syringes with other addicts. And if we can stop one of those infections in the city of Fargo, we can divert hundreds of thousands of dollars of cost to take care of that person until the end. It's a cheap deal for us. It's going to cost like $10,000 somewhere around there for the city of Fargo to have this. It gets funded by the state. It gets funded. We get all kinds of subsidies to do this as well. So while I think that a lot of people cringe and don't want to do it because it sounds bad, I think if you look at the policy, you look at the data, which I required, I told public health I will not support this unless you show me clear data that says it does work, and they did. So I voted yes. It was a 4-1 vote. Dave Pepcorn dissented. Apartment incentive policy. This has been a big topic. We used to give incentives to apartments all the time, whether it was downtown or not, quite frankly. And we've kind of noticed that people don't really like having apartments everywhere. And we have 60% of our population living in apartments, and that's a lot. Our city should not be that way. Our city should be 60% home ownership, 40% apartments, and we're not going to get to that point if we keep incentivizing living in apartments, which is what we're doing. So what Dave and I think John and some other folks kind of suggested it was, if we're going to give incentives to apartments, one, we need to stop doing it so often, and two, if we do give an incentive, they need to have a component of low-income housing in that apartment building. So if you get something from us, then we, get as a community, get a benefit as well. So that's not a perfect policy. It's not something that I necessarily support, but it is better than what we're currently doing, right? And then if someone comes to us and says and qualifies for an incentive and says, I'm not going to put low-income housing in there, then we don't give them the incentive. Then for me, that's good because I don't want to give them the incentive anyway. So putting more restrictions on there where the community would benefit, I think is beneficial if they're getting tax dollars from you, the people of Fargo. So that's in the works right now. Class Z license. A Class Z license is any kind of license that you would think of for a bar. If you don't sell food with it, you can sell wine, liquor, beer. It's a bar license. 4 of them were created when they first started, and then they were tied to population, and they would grow as population would grow. Initially, 4 of the 4 licenses, 2 were for downtown and 2 were for outside of Fargo, or outside of downtown Fargo. So we were incentivizing, or we were saying, hey, everyone, go downtown to drink. We had 2. Downtown's a small area, and we said put 2 licenses right there, and everyone else in the city of Fargo can have 2 more of these as well. So what happens is they all went downtown. So now our population grew. We had 2 people apply for 1 license, and the way that we figured all that mess out was we drew a name out of a hat. That is a terrible policy. I don't know how that law passed, but pulling a name out of a hat is silly and stupid, and not the way that you manage a liquor license. We need to change that immediately, and the way that I want to change it is to stop capping liquor licenses. This could be a 20-minute video. I can tell you about why this is a bad idea, but in brief, 1, downtown might have too many bars, but the rest of Fargo doesn't, okay? And when you cap licenses, people take their license and go to the place where most people will go into their bar, and that is downtown Fargo. Plus, we incentivize it by allowing more licenses down here and by making them cheaper to come down here, which is what we did for a lot of years to entice people to come down to downtown Fargo. So South Fargo doesn't have too many bars. North Fargo doesn't have too many bars. So why are we capping the number of bars? We should cap the square footage of bars if we're going to cap them at all, which of course I'm not in favor of. But there's smarter ways to do this. And pulling a name out of a hat and for a multi-million-dollar business potentially is a dumb way to do things, and we shouldn't be doing it anymore. And I think we've got that point across. So watch the video on that meeting, and you can see what that's all about. My son here is here today. He got a day off of school. So hey, Danger, say hi. All right, don't say hi. So we're going to change the way we do liquor licenses in the future, hopefully, and no more pulling names out of a hat. We can do better than that as a city of Fargo. So more to come on the liquor licenses. I'm going to push for a consultant to come to the city of Fargo, look at our liquor license structure, and see where we can do better. Because I've offered what my solutions have been. There hasn't been a ton of movement. We have uncapped some or loosened up some of the licenses, but I think we need to do it to all of them. And by the way, having more bars does not mean having more drinkers. I've never heard anyone in the city of Fargo say, boy, I'd like to get a beer, but I just can't find a place to go. It's everywhere. Every restaurant you go to, all the bars. So we limit these things, and I think it's not having the effect that we want, and it's having negative effects on the industry and the population of Fargo. So if you have any questions about the February 12th, 2018 Fargo City Commission meeting, contact me, phone calls, emails, Facebook, and keep watching how we're spending your tax dollars. Thank you.